At breakfast on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
It's 9 minutes before 8. Vinny, I do hope you can hold. I do want to hear your call because you've lived in Taiwan and it's all very well people expressing opinions. You have such personal experience. But we do need first to turn to a story that's higher up on the domestic agenda, which would be the U-turn performed by Liz Truss. Now, of course, she is absolutely the front runner currently to be the leader of the Conservative Party. But how much damage might she have done to her campaign by initially would appear endorsing a policy and then within about 12 hours deciding it was not the future? Well, let's turn to one of her key supporters. Brandon Lewis is obviously a Conservative MP. He's also served as chairman of the party and also Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. So he is a heavy hitter and he joins me now. How embarrassing is this for the candidate that you've endorsed? Good morning to you, Mr. Lewis.
Good morning, Nick. Look, no, it's not. I think Liz outlined yesterday and the team outlined a whole package of things around dealing with Whitehall waste. Outlined in that actually something that may well have been looking at how you deal with future contracts and new contracts for people coming in. But look, Liz made it clear we're not going to take that part of it forward because she wanted to be very clear that obviously we value all of the staff. And there was never any suggestion that the teams and the people who have worked so hard across the public sector actually through COVID were ever going to be in a situation where their pay was changed. And she wants to make sure that that's very clear. And the best way to do that was to say we're not taking this forward.
She claims she was misrepresented or willfully by whom?
Well, what we saw from some people on the other campaign was them outlining that this would have meant changes to pay for current public sector staff who have worked so hard. And that was never the implication. The plan for this and the outline for this was around what you do with new contracts, new staff coming in. And bear in mind, we're doing this at a point where, as part of that wider package, Liz wants to continue to deliver on the work that was set out by the current Prime Minister, actually, and the Treasury itself, which is to reduce the civil service and deal with the 91,000 increase we've seen in the civil service over the last couple of years as well.
So you still say the policy has merit if it's applied merely to new staff?
Well, Liz has been clear, we're not taking this policy forward. We've got to make sure, as I say, the wider package around Whitehall waste, I think, is important. People want to know that we're spending taxpayers' money efficiently and effectively to deliver good outcomes for people.
Right. But I'm unclear. So initially then it was represented as being that it would affect current staff, and that was unfair. Indeed, Jacob Rees-Mogg was on this show and used the expression it would be grandfathered. So that is to say, if I was a nurse working in Derbyshire, I would be absolutely fine. But you still say the idea has merit for new incoming staff?
No, we're not. No, Liz has been very clear yesterday. This was the point she made yesterday afternoon. We're not taking this. Is not a policy that's going to be taken forward.
So why did she ever put it forward?
Well, as I say, it was part of a package of things to deal with Whitehall waste. Look, we've seen, obviously, one of the things
But this isn't the first time she's supported this, Mr. Lewis, is it? As Rishi Sunak's team has pointed out, when she was Chief Secretary to the Treasury back in 2018, she was supporting a plan such as... So for 4 years, she's nursed this ambition to cut pay.
Well, with the best will in the world, you say Rishi Sunak's team. This is Rishi's team have sort of said you can't reduce taxes, and now they're saying they will reduce taxes, although they want people to wait 7 years for it. They've flip-flopped around on the Northern Ireland Protocol, on taxes, on energy, on education, about 8 or 9 different things we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Liz yesterday set out a set of policies, as I say, a package of things to deal with Whitehall waste. One part of that, she's been very clear, we're not going to take forward.
What level of consultation went into this prior to it being announced?
Well, look, as I say, we're during a leadership campaign. People are outlining policies that they think can work and they want to take forward. And as I say, we've seen from Rishi's team 8 or 9 different things. So, in terms
what
of
level of consultation went
package,
into this?
Well, you can argue the whole of the leadership campaign is a consultation process with our party members. As I say, Liz has been very clear with this particular policy. That part of it, she's still determined to deal with Whitehall waste, but that particular part of it isn't being taken forward.
But why is it necessary, more broadly, Mr. Why does it have to be another day, another policy? I note today we'll hear from your candidate, Liz Truss. She's going to order a review into whether failing to pay for a TV licence should be a criminal offence and therefore you could go behind bars. So that's it. What's tomorrow? Free apple pie for everybody 75 and below? Where do these policies end?
Well, look, over the period of a leadership election, our members want to get a good feel for what is their potential candidate for leader of the party going to be.
That's like me saying I'm going to bring an end to poverty and England will win the Men's World Cup later this year. I mean, these are like Mary Poppins promises, easy to make, easy to break.
Nick, I think that's a bit unfair on the England football team. I'm quite hopeful they may well win the World Cup later this year. I'm sure we'll all be cheering them on.
We would all be cheering, but let's stay with the Lionesses. But these are, to my point, these are Mary Poppins promises, easy to make, easy to break.
No, look, actually, I say quite a lot. I appreciate that people have seen these 8 or I think 9 different things flip-flopping around from Rishi Sunak's team, which people have to draw their own
Well,
conclusions.
never mind Rishi Sunak's team. Your candidate yesterday was trying to cut the pay of nurses in the north.
Well, no. Let's be clear. That's something she was never suggesting.
Incoming.
That's absolutely clear about
New
that.
nurses.
But what she has been outlining over the last couple of weeks is, as well as delivering on the manifesto people voted for in 2019, the type of thing she wants to focus on in the current circumstances, particularly with our economy and the challenges that people are seeing, for people who want, if she becomes Prime Minister. And what she's outlined, for example, is she wants to see within 7 weeks, not 7 years, within 7 weeks, people having more money in their pockets whilst dealing with how we bring down inflation to deal with the challenges people are having in the economy and the cost of living that they're facing at the moment as well.
Lastly, you are, in terms of intellect, a Conservative heavyweight. You chaired the party, you were Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, you've had some tough briefs. It wasn't that long ago that you were chairing Nadim Zahawi's campaign and you were telling me he was the only man to take the country forward. Now it's Liz Truss. What about your own U-turn? I know Mrs. Zahawi dropped out, but why should we listen to you now?
Well, 2 things I'll say, Nick, is first of all that the heavyweight, I'll take as a compliment despite having lost a fair bit of weight.
No, I said in intellect. I said in intellect.
Yes, you did.
In
Yes,
intellect.
you did. Yeah, that's fair.
Let the record, let Hansard show. Let Hansard show that was in terms of intellect, Mr. Lewis.
As I say, I'll take that as a compliment. We don't get them too often, so I'll take it. But look, in terms of Nadim Zahawi, rather like Liz, look, one of the things I would say this leadership election has shown is we are blessed in the Conservative Party with a huge depth and breadth of talent, that we had so many people competent and capable of being Prime Minister. Nadim Zahawi and I are old friends of 20 years. I think he would have made an excellent Prime Minister in the same way, as I say, once Nadim dropped out. You've then got a set of candidates. You look at who is the right person. I've known Liz since we were candidates together in Norfolk, let alone MPs. We've sat together in Cabinet. We fought side by side to get a good result for the people of Northern Ireland with the protocol. She stood absolutely firm on that in a way that some others didn't. And that's why she's got my support to be the right person to be our Prime Minister.
Always enjoy our time together. Brandon Lewis, thank you very much for appearing here on LBC. 3 minutes before 8 is the time. Vinny is in Inverness. Tell us about your time in Taiwan. Vinny, good morning.
Good morning, Nick. How are you? You okay?
I'm all right, sir, but I want to hear your stories. When were you there? How long and why?
Yes, I was in Taiwan from 2014 to 2018. I was working there as an English teacher. I was also there when Tsai Ing-wen, the current president, was elected.
Right.
And she was